Hello, I wanted to show you how to do the Facing Slavery folder. It's right here. Click it open. Similar to the other ones, you got the learning target in the beginning. You're going to learn to explain the importance of the triangular trade linking Africa, the West Indies, the British colonies, and Europe. You're going to learn to describe the introduction, impact, and role of slavery in the colonies. This time you have 2 projects you need to submit. I'm going to show you how to find the info for that in just a sec. Start with the reading, open in a new tab. Come up here. It's the Facing Slavery project. To complete this part of the folder, you need to submit 2 Facing Slavery projects. It gives you the choice: newspaper, article, poem, diary, graphic novel, dialogue, or letter to the editor. Come down here to the bottom, and it says you'll find all your resources here. So I open it in a new tab. Let's look at the resources real quick. Facing Slavery project resources. You'll need to reference terms and concepts from the chapter to complete the project for this chapter. This is a tutorial. It's going to show you how to use the Quizlet website. That's the first time you got to use the Quizlet website. Down here you've got 2 different sets of cards that you can use on the Quizlet website to practice terms. It's not just flashcards, they're fun games. This video shows you how to play in the website, and here's the direct links to 2 of them. Down at the bottom you have your resources, so let's open those. These are your notes. You always have notes. And that's the project. Alright, let's look at the notes. These are organized in kind of a different way. The first page says important terms and people. If you come to something that you think is important, like it's bolded or something like that, or the person does something really important, you put it on this page and you put a little explanation as to what it is or what they did. The next 2 pages are broken down like this: reasons the Africans participated and what happened as a result of their participation. Reasons the Europeans or colonists participated, what happened as a result of their participation. And I filled in the bottom already. Needed people to work in their fields, they made more money that way. So you get an idea of how you fill this in. This is going to completely help you, especially these pages here, complete the project. So take great notes. Let's look at the project, or the projects. They look like this. You get to pick off of the grid, you get to pick 2 projects. One is being a journalist. You're going to write as though you write for the Boston Gazette. You've been sent down to South Carolina to report on plantation life. Write an article describing in detail what you see. Draw a picture to go along with the article. And it tells you on each one of these explanations about how long it needs to be. It should be 1/2 to 1 page in length. And because they are short projects, that's why you pick 2 to complete in order to get your grade. Next one says, write a poem about a person from Chapter 8 facing slavery, i.e. an enslaved African, a plantation owner, European slave trader, slave ship captain, etc. Use figurative language and a definite rhyme scheme that is in keeping with the mood and tone of the situation. And there's the length. Next one is to do a diary entry. Use your imagination, write a diary entry as one of the slave ship captains. Pay attention to the role here. This diary should include details about each part of your journey through the triangular trade route. You should include a detailed drawing of the trade route. Down here, if you want to do the graphic artist one, pretend you are writing a graphic novel depicting the 3 stages of the journey slaves took to get from their village in West Africa to a tobacco plantation in America. Draw a series of scenes, at least 9, pay attention to the length, that detail this voyage. Include a brief explanation with each picture. Okay? Remember, you're picking 2 of these, so as I'm reading them, make sure you're thinking which one kind of sounds like you, and then which other one sounds like you. Write a dialogue that may have taken place between 2 enslaved Africans as they are on a voyage to America. Imagine their sense of despair at being locked up and having their lives in danger. This should be, 1 to 1/2 pages in length, 1 to 1.5 pages in length. Last, letter to an editor. From the viewpoint of a plantation owner, write a letter to the editor of the Boston Gazette. You should write about your thoughts on slavery and defend the fact that you own slaves. Your opinions, observations, thoughts, and feelings should all be addressed in this letter, half a page to 1 page in length. Down here, there's 2 rubrics because you're turning in 2 projects. I'll use the first one on the first one and the second on the second. The things you're going to get graded on are the length, whether or not you paid attention to what it asked for. So it's the first one, you get a 4 if you write something longer than what the description asked for. You get a 3 if you write something that's as long as the activity asks. A 2 if it's a little bit shorter, and a 1 if it's obviously shorter. You always have this column in your rubric. The information in your project needs to be your own work and cannot be copied and pasted. You have to have few, if any, spelling errors, and it has to make sense and be well written. The task, this row here, means you paid attention to what the directions said, and the writing is easy to tell that you paid attention to what it said. So, for instance, if you're writing a letter to the editor, I should see Dear Editor at the top. Or if you are writing dialogue, you should have the person's name and then a colon and what they said, the other character's name and a colon and what they said. That's how dialogue looks. And finally, if you're writing a newspaper article, there's certain language that a newspaper reporter uses as they're reporting on something they're, writing about. So each piece should be very obviously that piece by the way you wrote it. It should be clear when someone picks it up. Oh, this is a diary entry. It starts with Dear Diary. Last thing, it says terms and concepts from the chapter. Include at least 6 terms or concepts learned from the chapter. So that's where that Quizlet website comes into play here. If you go out here to Quizlet, it has a list of terms that you learned from the chapter and different ways that you can practice those terms. So take the time to do that after you're done reading. Now let's take a look at the reading. It's only 9 sections. We've already looked at the project, so let's go to the next one. You've got your introduction, you're taking notes, you've got West Africa in the 1500s, and I like the images that they included on this chapter. I think they're pretty neat. And then remember, when you come to a question, to enter it in down here, you do get a grade on that. This one's 2 parts. You pick A, B, or C, and then you write, I chose option B because, and you explain yourself using at least 2 sentences. So you get a good score. And then I will send you your score when we're done. But that's the first 3 sections of reading. You see the other reading right here. You've got your review game, and you know how to log in there. And then you submit it the way you've been submitting it previously. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please email me or call me so that I can help you as soon as possible.